The last time Dr. Richard Greene and his team went on an expedition to the Antarctic, they mapped out all of the icy landscape. So when they finally returned after the winter and found a strangely formed plaque where it didn't belong, they knew they had to take a closer look. Using their trusted instruments, they decided to take a closer look. However, when Dr. Greene read their equipment, he paled. This couldn't be good. Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. After the adventure that was the climb to get on this massive plaque of ice, Dr. Greene quickly got his equipment and drilled a small hole in the ice. He needed to find out what was going on here. He instructed every single member of his team to do the same. Though evenly spaced out, they needed to find out what this all meant. Richard should have noticed it when he had glanced into the small hole made by James's faulty ice pick, but in his need to reach the top, he had skipped the evidence that had been laid before him then and there. He had been too obsessed about what would be on the surface of this rectangular hunk of ice and snow. After drilling through a part of the ice, he suddenly noticed the change, and as he looked at the numbers his instruments were giving him, he paled. He didn't understand. How could this be? A million questions raced through his mind, and he knew he had to find an answer to all of them. How old was this ice? Where had it appeared from? And most importantly, what would they discover within it? Dr. Greene had always been fond of the Antarctic. It had been the primary reason he requested to be stationed at the southern pole. He had been keeping a close eye on the landscapes for many years, so he was the first to notice the significant change that had happened during the winter month. During the harsh winter, when no sunlight reached the South Pole, Dr. Greene and his team were always forced to leave the Arctic. Though he didn't like it, he would rather leave than freeze to death. They left some equipment running while they were gone, but Dr. Greene would never have expected it to show these strange numbers. With a link to the network, he was able to monitor the Arctic even in the winter months. Yet, what he monitored could never have prepared him for this. Upon their return, every single person on his team noticed the massive change, and none of them knew how this could possibly have happened and where it had come from. Though seeing ice in the ocean and surrounding the Antarctic wasn't something strange, this specific shape was. It was worrisome that none of them knew where this could possibly have come from. It was formed in a perfect rectangle. That alone was almost impossible and certainly unheard of. Generally, on the edges, one would notice some crumbling of the ice, but not here. "We have to get our equipment from the cabin," Richard said to his team, who all nodded yet didn't avert their eyes. They were all too enamored by the enigma that was the plaque. Everyone was eager to discover its origin, but no one could have expected or even been prepared for what it really meant. Richard noted the coordinates in his journal before ordering the ship's captain to go to the cabin. Before they could delve deeper into the mystery, they would need the equipment that held the data of the past few months. Maybe it could help explain this strange phenomenon, or at least Dr. Richard Greene hoped it would. The captain steered toward the given coordinates of Dr. Greene, and soon, the well-known and almost homely cabin came into view. Richard had missed the place, though it needed to be updated. It felt like home. He loved being on the South Pole, so having a home there in any shape or form was only fitting. The instruments were right as he had left them several months ago. Dr. Greene and his team filed into the cabin, grabbing everything that they needed to crack the mystery surrounding the plaque. He had noted that unlike the ice surrounding it, it didn't seem to float as other ice had bumped into it due to the water current. It made him only more curious. He needed to know what it meant. After he and the team grabbed everything they might need, they quickly returned to the boat. As far as they had observed, it seemed like there was no way to get to the plaque except through the sea. It didn't look like it had any connection to the surrounding ice. It had been curious, almost as if the ice had appeared out of nowhere. Even getting on the plaque didn't seem to be an easy feat. Aside from its angular shape, it was also rather tall. The massive ice was solid and unmoving next to the swaying boat. "Ice picks," Dr. Greene ordered as he and his crew grabbed their equipment for safety and climbing. The only way they could get on there was through those picks. It seemed like everything was going off without a hitch until the new recruit, James, began his ascent. It was his first time in the Antarctic, and his inexperience showed immediately. Dr. Greene stayed calm, watching closely from below. He always waited at the bottom, ensuring everyone else made it up safely before climbing himself. The entire team was roped together, but a sudden jolt from James's full weight could put the others at risk. The team continued their ascent, carving methodical paths into the steep face of the iceberg. When they finally crested the iceberg, the sight before them was unexpected. The surface was unnaturally smooth, stretching outward like a polished plane of white. There were no ridges, no cracks, none of the chaotic formations typical of Antarctic ice. Pale sunlight reflected evenly across the surface, creating an eerie, almost artificial stillness. Concerned with safety, Dr. Greene ordered one crew member to remain aboard the boat to maintain communication. At Greene's signal, the team spread out across the pristine ice. Equipment was unpacked, drills assembled, and instruments calibrated. Every movement was deliberate, practiced, and quiet. Dr. Greene positioned his drill over a carefully chosen site. The hum of the drill breaking the eerie silence felt almost invasive. As the bit bored into the ice, he watched the readings on his instruments, expecting the usual data indicative of ice composition and age. The readings suggested something unusual beneath the surface. He checked the instruments for errors, but the data remained consistent, stirring both excitement and concern. Determined to understand the anomaly, Dr. Greene ordered drilling at multiple locations across the iceberg. The team moved swiftly, their routine now driven by urgency. Their progress halted when strange air bubbles appeared within the ice. Dr. Greene immediately recognized their potential importance. He pointed out variations in size and distribution, noting how deliberate the patterns appeared. Realizing they lacked the proper tools to analyze the bubbles, Dr. Greene sent several team members back to the boat for specialized equipment. The urgency was clear as activity intensified aboard the vessel. Meanwhile, Greene, Sasha, and a small group remained on the iceberg, marking areas with the highest bubble concentration and preparing for further study. When the equipment arrived, detailed analysis began. Each bubble was examined and logged, with instruments probing deeper into the ice. Dr. Greene theorized that these formations might preserve vital clues about the iceberg's origin, possibly revealing processes never before observed. Encouraged by their findings, the team deployed a larger drill capable of reaching deeper layers. Anticipation grew as it cut into the ice, pushing beyond the surface anomalies and into the structure below. What emerged stunned them. The bubbles were not isolated pockets, but entrances to hidden caverns embedded within the iceberg. The realization sparked awe and speculation as the team considered the scale and nature of these unseen spaces. Understanding the significance, Dr. Greene began preparations for an expedition into the caverns. He selected experienced members and ensured they were equipped for extreme conditions. Communication systems were tested and secured, maintaining a vital connection to the team on the boat. With preparations complete, the team carefully entered the cavern. Inside, the ice formed towering shapes and shimmering walls, illuminated by their headlamps. As they ventured deeper, the team encountered scenes of frozen beauty that seemed almost surreal. Icicles hung like chandeliers, and walls of ice glistened with patterns that resembled intricate ancient art. These formations, untouched and preserved for millennia, conveyed a sense of timelessness. The caverns held a quiet majesty, a reminder of the Earth's age and the fleeting nature of human history. The deeper they traveled, the heavier the silence became. Aside from the crunch of boots and the faint drip of melting ice, the caverns were eerily still. The isolation pressed in on them, creating a sense of detachment from the world above, as though they had crossed into a realm untouched by time. Over time, the psychological strain began to surface. The isolation, constant alertness, and unbroken silence weighed heavily on their minds. Anxiety and doubt lingered beneath the surface, an invisible challenge as real as the physical dangers around them. Still, the team drew strength from one another, offering quiet reassurance and maintaining focus. Several close calls reinforced the risks they faced. Team members narrowly avoided falls into concealed crevices, saved only by quick reactions and mutual awareness. Each incident heightened their caution while strengthening their resolve to continue. Their connection to the outside world soon began to weaken. The radio crackled with static, and communication with the boat became sporadic. Each failed transmission emphasized their growing isolation, transforming the radio from a source of comfort into a reminder of how far beneath the surface they had traveled. In the depths of the caverns, the team stumbled upon a breathtaking sight: animals and other entities perfectly preserved in the ice. It was as if time had stood still, capturing these creatures in a frozen tableau. Each discovery was a window into an ancient world, revealing species that had walked the earth thousands of years ago. The team moved with reverence around these icy tombs, aware of the preciousness of their find. These ancient specimens, locked in their icy vaults, appeared to be relics from a bygone era. The preservation was so perfect that it seemed as if they could wake at any moment. Dr. Greene and his team speculated that these creatures were from a prehistoric world, offering invaluable insights into the Earth's distant past. Each frozen form was a fragment of a much larger story, preserved across millennia. With extreme care, the team began collecting samples and documenting their findings. Using specialized tools, they extracted ice cores while protecting the integrity of the specimen. As the investigation continued, the discoveries grew more significant. Patterns within the ice began to emerge, revealing a narrative far more complex than expected. The specimens pointed to an ancient ecosystem, preserved in remarkable detail beneath a frozen surface. Flora and fauna were woven together in a frozen record of life from thousands of years ago, offering rare insight into a long-lost world. While navigating deeper into the caverns, the team encountered something unexpected: rock formations embedded within the ice. Dr. Greene considered the possibility of recent seismic activity. He theorized that tectonic movement may have exposed land ice long buried beneath the sea, bringing both rock and preserved life to the surface. The idea sparked intense discussion among the team as they examined the formations for signs of geological upheaval. As they reflected on the iceberg's origins, the team realized it could represent far more than a drifting mass of ice. It might be a preserved fragment of ancient land, holding secrets about Earth's geological and ecological history that had remained sealed for thousands of years. In a moment of revelation, Dr. Greene proposed a groundbreaking theory. The iceberg was not typical sea ice but land ice, displaced by seismic activity that had lifted sections of the sea floor. This explanation accounted for both the rock formations and the exceptional preservation of ancient life within the ice. This understanding transformed their mission. The land ice, once submerged for ages, could contain vital records of prehistoric ecosystems and possibly early signs of human presence. Each layer of ice represented a chapter of Earth's history waiting to be read. The scientific implications were immense. Their findings offered new perspectives on climate change, tectonic movement, and the evolution of ancient ecosystems. The team understood that this discovery could reshape scientific understanding of how Earth's environment had changed over time. As the team prepared to share their findings with the world, they reflected on the profound impact of their discovery. They recognized that their work marked the beginning of a new chapter in understanding Earth's history.